We're here today on Rainy Street, which is a pretty unique part of town. 15 years ago, it was 100-year-old bungalows, and a lot of them were frankly falling down. But in the last couple of years, it's been transformed into what's now a cultural hotspot here in Austin. I'm so excited to be here with my buddy Chris. Hey, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
I have seen what he did. He took what was once a pretty much dilapidated, falling down bungalow and quickly turned it into what's now known as one of the top cocktail bars in America. Chris, we're here on Rainy Street. Tell me, why did you decide on this area?
I just saw, had projected into the future that this area was gonna really blossom with South by Southwest and drinking culture, taking a few steps forward, people growing up and graduating from the 6th Street crowd, and there were just some key indicators for me that said, hey, this might be worth taking a gamble on.
I mean, what was this area like when you got in?
There were a few bars down here already, but this, it was a crack house. And the fact that we're standing here now and having looked back on it, 6 years ago when we started build out, it's amazing to see how far this place has come.
We're here in Austin, which obviously is a center of nightlife. It's a huge part of it. There's lots of bars there. But like I said, you've become one of the top ones. Tell me, what sets you guys apart?
We have this nice ability to bring together two worlds that I've lived in, and that's one is the nicer cocktail bars that I've worked at, and then also the live music clubs and venues. And so the marriage of those two, as we've grown and evolved, have become very unique, I think, to a city that's known for its live music.
Yeah.
We've had an indoor stage and an outdoor stage. We do these incredible cocktails. We have, this wonderful ice program, but none of it's meant to be precious. It's just meant to be super fun and super relaxed, and a place that you might even want to bring your parents to show off to. But the fact that we are fostering community and paying our artists and having regular showcases and whatnot, I think that's a big part and says a lot about where Austin's heading, is that we don't want to lose our artists because they can't afford to live here anymore. And it's great that Austin is growing and that the property values are rising, but we got to do our part to really support the local artists and musicians and keep that thing alive that's making Austin, or has made Austin, what it is today. Oh,
definitely. We're Austin. We're the live music capital of the world, right? It's great that there are people like you out there who are helping these artists stay in here, because it's true. Our city's popular. The prices have been going up, and it is an issue with affordability, because a lot of times these artists, these musicians, the people who give us the culture that we have, a lot of times with the prices going up, they can't even afford to stay here in the city center, the places they made popular, so it's really nice that there's people like you out there.
Yeah, you don't want to kill the golden goose. Yeah. That's the rules. You got to support the thing that is created, that gives the city soul.
Yeah.
And for me, having moved and learned how to, do my craft, I wanted it's like Half Step is like a big love letter back to my hometown.
As a real estate agent, I always notice these little details, and I see all these architectural touches that you have here that are really cool. I see some burnt boards over there. I see some shiplap, some vintage tin ceilings. Can you tell me a little bit about those?
Sure. So the house itself was, as I'd mentioned, pretty run down.
Yeah.
And so it was, for the most part, a full remodel. We left the front facade, the north elevation standing, took down to the pier and beam, but we really wanted to honor the original structure, so we had a lot of shiplap that was in the house as the natural insulation.
So this actually came off the original house.
So the shiplap is from the original house. The tin came from architectural salvage yard out in Gonzales, Texas. The beadboard I traded cash in a bar tab for, and it came out of a house right down Holly Street.
Yeah.
And so some of the new materials we wanted to match up, like the tile and these elements, to where it didn't look like a Disney-esque replica of what something might look like, but just looked like something that had warmth and had vibrancy and a soul to it.
You know, I know one of your slogans is "Our ice is nice." Tell me, what is that about?
Our ice, it's a big part of what we do, and
Okay.
I think a big, easy answer for that is if you think of ice as a quarter to a third of the cocktail once it starts to melt, then the water quality and the ice itself and the temperature that it can help regulate is a very important part. So if just as the bourbon is an important part of, you know, the old fashioned, the Angostura is a necessary part, the ice and the temperature and the way that the water melts becomes very important. And so it just gives us the ability to adjust the temperature and introduce the water at a specific rate.
And is this the stuff I've seen where, you know, you've got a cocktail glass and just a giant cube in there that's just perfectly crystal clear ice? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, because you're regulating the surface area that comes in contact with the cocktail.
I see.
So it's dense, so it melts and it dilutes at a slower rate, providing a more consistent drinking experience.
Well, you know, I can really see the attention to detail you have, you know, when it comes to the way you finished out your place, the care you put into your drinks, everything like that. I mean, it's really not a surprise to me at all to see how successful you've become. Thank you so much for joining me today and
Absolutely.
and giving me the time. Back to you in the studio.